Okay, you want to know the reason I wanted to talk about synth presets?
Yeah.
It's because for the last at least 6 months, like, the reason I'd get a synth is to go through the presets, right? Like, that was my whole
That's smart.
thing about
That's what
plugins. That's how I started, and that's why I made all those, like, reactions, because I was like, all these crazy synth presets. But eventually you realize that, like, most of these synth developers or companies, I mean, yeah, some of them will hire, like, amazing Grammy award-winning people to make presets, but most of the time it's just really not that usable for me, at least. Like 90+% at least the synth presets are like pretty not the best.
Same.
So it's like, what's the point of scrolling through the whole time when you can just make your own from the start? You know what I mean?
Of course.
So
The question that I have is, why buy a piano if you can make a piano?
No.
Same question.
What do you mean make a piano?
Oh, why are you going to buy a piano, a grand piano? You could just make your own.
Yeah,
With
I
the
mean, that's
plugin?
exactly the point, isn't it? Because I don't have a piano. Exactly for that reason. It is a huge object and you cannot even adjust the sound. So why would I use it instead of a synthesizer?
This was a bit too destructive of a argument. Let's go back to the synth presets. Zayne, continue. We can get back to this later.
I mean, that is a good... Well, because I thought you were talking about making a freaking piano synth
of course.
preset.
No, I mean, like, having a preset is like buying an instrument. Why do people buy instruments?
Oh, yeah, for the tone and shit.
Yeah, but
I
Zayne is
like-
right. A lot of presets that are shipped in a synthesizer are really not that good. They are just made to be fancy and hyped up, and they have a lot of kind of sounds in it. So everyone feels like, wow, that's an incredible preset. But then you try to actually use it in a song, and it's way too complex for every context you throw at it.
That I see what you mean. That's also an issue I find sometimes, that the synth presets are actually too overdone, too processed, too specific. I thought, Zayne, you were more talking about they were too boring.
I mean, no, they're not even too boring necessarily. They're just not usable entirely, especially for at least my music. Like, I'm a pretty chill guy. I like to, like, the benefits of making your own presets is you really get to, like, evolve it how you want. Like, when you said the overprocessed presets, let's say you like it, you don't even know how it was made because there's all these matrix parameters, so you got to edit it, and, like, it's just a lot of work. I feel like just starting from the ground up, you have an initial preset and you get to make it, because there's only, like, so many types of synth sounds, like basses, plucks, pads, like, they're all pretty much made the same way. It's not like...
But I feel like you said a key word. Like you said, they don't fit maybe with the style of music you want to make. Because I feel that's often an issue. Weaver is also always complaining about how presets sound, because he makes, like, I don't know what kind of music, modern...
No one knows.
I don't know the words of these tech genres, these electronic music genres. But
Hip-hop
yes,
beats.
you can't use a brass synth in the type of music that Weaver Beats wants to make. But if there's 500 brass synth presets, I'm hyped. I'm going through all the brass presets and see which one inspires me the most. And of course, Weaver is not going to be happy that there are so many brass synth presets there. So for me, I think it would be an interesting challenge. I think you can challenge me. Give me any preset, I'm going to make a song with it. Any preset.
That's a nice idea for a challenge. Let's do that sometime.
That is
You just got to be open about what style it is. But if you have a fixed vision of, I want to make this genre, then maybe you're very limited in... Because these modern electronic genres are very specific. You're not very flexible in, I could give this sound a bit more of this or less of this, because then it's a different genre somehow already.
And
That's
I just feel like it slows down your creativity a little bit too, especially if you're actually making music. Like, you're in the middle of your song and then you're just, like, clicking through. You're not, like, building a groove, you know what I mean? You're not, like, building upwards. It's kind of just, like, you're just, like, fucking going through the motions, I guess, and, like, hoping instead of actually knowing what you're fucking doing and, like, building something that you know is gonna work perfect.
I've had these situations too where I've, like, had to explore 100 different even synth plugins to find a preset I like, but often it is only when I don't even have a clear vision of what it should sound like, and I'm like, could this work? Could this work?
But you don't even need a clear vision of what the sound needs. You just need to know what type of sound. Like, if you want something ambient, you're gonna make a pad. Like you can pretty much tell quickly, I feel like, when you're making a song, like, oh, I need a bass.
Yeah, of
so
course.
So you're going to make a bass you want.
Let's say I want the pad. There's a million different ways a pad can sound, right? And so I'm not sure what specific sound I want. So if I had to create it myself, I don't know if I could come up with the sound that I would hope to find.
I would just take a saw wave, then I would turn up unison as high as I can, and I would add some reverb, and then I would make decisions from there.
See, that's why it's cool to work with something like an M1 or something like weird synths, because you start out with a saw wave, but maybe then later realize, this should have been some flute samples, or maybe later.
But I would start with a saw wave on purpose, because it's like the bass kind of texture for many other types of sounds, depending on what kind of filters you throw in it, because most sounds are made of the harmonic series, and the saw wave is just basically pure harmonic series, and that's it, you know? So from a saw wave, you can go anywhere with filters, and that's why it's always a good sound to start from, a very powerful one. Saw waves and square waves, the best ones to start a synth preset with, and later you can still decide to scrap it and throw a different wavetable at it or something.
But how do you guys elevate a synth preset? Because, you know, the saw wave is a good starting point. You can make pretty much all your basses and like whatever plucks chords with a saw or a square. But like, how do you really add it to make a unique, one-of-a-kind synth preset? Do you guys have any techniques?
Use a chorus on it.
Whoa! Don't get too experimental.
That's how I would elevate a saw pad. Use chorus.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have all the plugins. You guys know just as much about synths and effects as I do.
See,
so you
what
gotta
I think is you just got to learn which developers create good presets and which don't. And for example, if I just need to find a good sounding preset right now, I know I can trust Yuhi. I go to Yuhi Synth, the presets are banger.
But what is it that makes them banger presets?
I don't know, they just all sound so polished and usable. Go check out the free Yuhi plugins. Do you have them? Like
no, but like you've never looked at the effects or like anything about them?
No,
like,
I don't care.
I have Basil.
My.
Basil is a very nice synthesizer, but I've never touched the preset so far.
You said Yuhi?
Yuhi Basil.
I've actually talked to the preset designer of Yuhi.
Oh, cool.
About.
Did you talk about?
There's many.
I wish I recorded
designers.
it, dude. It was when I was at NAMM. The freaking preset man was there. I forgot exactly what he told me, but
the preset man.
he was like, try to use all the crazy effects you can, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, don't do too much, though. Like, just basic stuff. Like,
for example, I love this one preset in Podolsky. That's a free... I don't even know what synth... I thought it was subtractive, but it's like a weird subtractive synth.
We should put it in the background of this video.
And this preset is so good. I keep going back to the synth just to use this preset.
Wow. I wish I could hear it right now, but I can only hear it when the video is released.
I don't know if I want to edit this in.
You don't know anything about this preset, though.
Nah, I just know I thought it was a subtractive preset, and then I wanted to turn on a filter, and it did something crazy.
Is it like a bass or a pluck or what?
No, it was like a synth brush.
You,
I think it's called.
Yourself,
I think it's
like,
called HS Soft Synth.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hear it. But to answer your question, Zayne, how to make unique synths? That's kind of a weird question, because unique is always relative to where you were before. You always have to find something new that is new for you personally, so that you can reinvent yourself. And for me personally, that often just means that I'm over-obsessing on some software, because that reveals new workflows and with that new sounds. Like in this case, the parameter randomization thing. So if you ask me right now, I would say I would layer the synth patch with a bunch of randomized synth. And if you ask me in 2 months, then I would tell you something completely different.
So, Zayne, you started out saying you don't like scrolling through these presets anymore or buying synths for the presets. That makes sense to some point. Like, Jerry Audio released a new synth, and I'm like, do I need another analog emulation? It's going to have more synth brass.
Yeah.
I don't really understand the audience for this, honestly. But I don't even think those are preset people. These people just want to play around with 100 different emulations. So you found making your own preset is more efficient than looking through presets?
For making music, in my opinion, yes. Because when I was, let's say, whatever, the last 2 years when I was just praying and hoping that I'd find a sound and never found anything for like months or whatever. It's just like all that time I could have just been making my own stuff and being happy. And the other benefit of making all your presets is now I actually know how to fucking make a lot of more sounds myself. Like literally I can't do everything, but at least for like house and D&B, like I know how to make the freaking neuro basses from scratch now. Like I can make all my plucks really quick, all my basses. Like I have my little secret recipes. Like I'll say some secret sauce because I just use Serum mostly, but like that has, you know, it goes pretty freaking deep with like how you can edit the waveforms, especially. You can even add harmonics really easily with like the harmonics little sliders and stuff, which adds, you know, extra tones to your sound. And once you know how to make like I want to learn how to make freaking guitars. I've been using filters, like vowel filters to get more unique sounds. Like there's just, it just goes really in depth.
You should try some K plus strong type synthesizers if you want to go for guitar sounds.
I've never done that. You're right.
You gotta watch my video on physical modeling free plugins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch this video.
No, you're totally
right. It's in
right.
the description.
I didn't even think of that shit. I don't know how that can help people make a better synth plugin. Like, what do you think developers could do to like make people make better presets quicker? Is there any ideas we got for that?
See, I'm already pretty content. I think most synths are already good enough for me.
But like, if you're not designing them, what would make you want to like make your own brass presets? I guess like if it was just easier or sound.
I think nothing.
You just rather scroll through presets.
I mean, I know how to tweak sounds usually, except in Podolsky, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, designing sounds always feels like playing around. I don't like that. I want to be more goal-oriented.
Do you at least know if a lot of the synth presets you like are sample-based or waveform-based? Do you know that at least?
If it's a synth preset, it is waveform-based. Otherwise, it's like a specific
waveforms
instrument.
are samples too. So
You mean like if my favorite synth presets are synth sounds or instrument sounds? Or
yeah, basically.
if it's like sampled synths or emulated synths?
For example, in Serum, you have like your noise oscillator, which a lot of people upload like a guitar pluck in that and then have it like go up and down the MIDI. So I'd consider that sample based.
You didn't upgrade to Serum 2 yet, right?
I mean, I have it, but it doesn't work well on my computer, so I still just use Serum 1. It's the same shit.
Because it does come with its own sampler type oscillator, so you don't need to use the noise oscillator anymore for that kind of stuff.
So that's how I would distinguish the two types of synth presets, I think, right now at least.
I don't know.
Between synth and sample based, basically.
Yeah, because they both kind of have their own little ways to edit. You know what I mean?
Then maybe you should experiment with the gray zone in between. Like every time I think I need to shake things up, I just try to figure out where are the gray zones in my current workflow. And it seems like in your case, that would be that you have to throw a sample into a sampler, and then you have to make the looped part of the waveform so short that it's longer than a wavetable, but shorter than something where you can still identify the sample. And then it would create some sort of texture
granular.
that feels a little bit like a synth, but it's still like more of a granular thing. And then you would exactly be in a new spot where you haven't found yourself recently.
I don't know about that. It's just granular synthesis at that point, right?
I mean, it would sound a little bit like wavetable synthesis, but since you have more than just one wave cycle in the loop, it would sound a little bit more complex than that. And that's sometimes a nice way to find a balance between these two very different sounding worlds.
I have a different take. I think you're too focused on using Serum. Stop using Serum, challenge yourself, make a video, challenge yourself to use 10 free plugins you never used to make a song.
I mean, all the synths are the fucking same though. That's why I'm saying like at a certain point.
Though. They are not though.
Yes, they are. They have like
a lot
FM.
Of them are.
Like
I
you
mean,
have, like,
they are technically, but they are different tools. They lead to different results.
Dude, but like
especially if you talk
said,
about sample-based stuff. Like if you start talking about, there's sample-based synthesis and waveform-based synthesis, then you might as well talk about contact libraries. Then you might talk about, orchestral instruments at that point. these are all the same tool. Like instead of using Serum, go use an orchestral library. And then you can use effects on it as well, of course, and stuff like that.
I mean, post-processing is a whole other thing because you have your fucking synth parameters built in and then all the extra effects.
And post-processing is the same thing as a filter in the synth, isn't it?
I mean, but you're not just filtering in the synth. Like, you have FM and stuff, and you're not going to have... There's no FM effect plugin. You know what I mean?
I actually made a video. It's like my second video I ever made, and the title was called FM Anything, and it was just a vibrato plugin that went very fast.